Right, let's now shift our attention to some other stories now, where the Chinese defense minister has said that the Wuhan spirit is alive and kicking. Now, this is what China seems to indicate at a pretty difficult time when it is facing a lot of pressure from the United States in this bitter trade war that it has got embroiled in. Now, this morning, China's defense minister gave a speech at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore. In it, he spoke about regional and global issues, but he also dealt at some length on China's bilateral ties with India. Now, the Minister General Wei Fenghe said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Xi Jinping have interestingly reached an important consensus and that the bilateral ties are actually getting better. Now, speaking about the India-China relationship, the Chinese general said that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping have reached an important consensus and that the relationship between both the countries are actually getting better. He also noted that there were some differences between the two countries in the past, but that did not necessarily impede the overall cooperation between them. Now, the minister has also added that the Chinese side is ready to work with India. Listen in.
We have seen sort of differences in the relationship as well, but the differences cannot be compared to the overall sound cooperation. The Chinese side is ready to work together with India to properly handle the boundary question, and at the moment, the management of the boundary question is sound. The two sides has had close communication with each other, and the border area is generally stable. The common interests of China and India far outweigh our differences. A sound China-India relationship not only serves the interests of both peoples, it is also conducive to stability of the whole world.
Remember, Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping had met at Wuhan in April last year. It was, in fact, the first informal summit of its kind. The two leaders are anticipated to meet for a second such summit in India later this year, the venue of which has not been decided. Now, we earlier spoke with Atul Aneja, who's an Indian journalist who writes for the Hindu newspaper from Beijing, and who said that the India-China relationship has seen a significant boost recently, especially after China lifted restrictions to designate the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar as a global terrorist. Listen in.
There is a positive momentum in India-China ties. It happens, a major fillip to that, I think, took place when China agreed to designate Masood Azhar as an international terrorist. Thereafter, the visit of the Foreign Secretary, Mr. Vijay Gokhale, to China, or around that time of the designation, that visit was very significant because that laid the groundwork for planning on the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi as a sequel to the Wuhan summit which took place. Of course, the election results had not come out, but there was wide anticipation that the BJP would win and Mr. Modi would once again become Prime Minister. So that momentum is going on. That has taken a way forward, and I think we are likely to have a meeting in autumn, if not earlier, between the two leaders. So there is a positive momentum. There's a larger context to that, and which you mentioned, where the U.S. factor does come into play. China is presently facing a strategy of containment from the U.S. This has become very, very significant and very apparent from the trade war which is taking place. So that's not just a trade war; it's a multi-spectrum sort of strategy to contain China. It has also acquired tensions on the military front.